My shoulders ache as I push open our front door, the familiar strain of an 8-hour shift at the bookstore settling into my muscles. The moment I step inside, something in the air changes. The living room feels charged, heavy with an atmosphere I've learned to recognize since childhood. My mother stands in the center of the room, arms crossed, and my stomach drops before she even opens her mouth. There you are. Her voice carries that razor edge I know too well. Jessica perches on the edge of the couch, lower lip trembling in a performance I've seen 1,000 times before. On the coffee table between them lies a crisp white letter, university letterhead clearly visible even from where I stand. My eyes catch fragments of words, academic dishonesty, and immediate expulsion. "This is your fault," Mom's voice cracks through the air like a whip. "You put too much pressure on Jessica. She had no choice but to cheat." I grip the doorframe, my mind struggling to process the absurdity of the accusation. Jessica, perfect Jessica, has been caught cheating on her finals. And somehow, standing in our dimly lit living room, I'm being blamed for it. "You're always showing off how perfect you are," Jessica chimes in, her voice wobbling. "I just wanted to be as good as you." The words hit me like a physical blow. My brain spins backward through time. 8-year-old me in the principal's office, Mom's fingers digging into my wrist as she blamed me for Jessica's stolen lunch money. The security footage later proved Jessica took it herself, but the apology never came. Christmas morning after Christmas morning, Jessica unwrapping designer handbags while I received secondhand coats with price tags still attached. "Jessica deserves nice things," Mom would say. "You don't need to be spoiled." Senior year floods back. 2 part-time jobs, saving every penny for a car, only for Mom to demand the money for Jessica's new laptop. Always Jessica. Always my fault. Always my sacrifice. Mom's nails dig into my arm now, dragging me back to the present. "This family has done everything for you, and this is how you repay us? You make Jessica feel like she'll never be good enough?" Something shifts inside me. 23 years of bending, breaking, accepting, and suddenly, I can't do it anymore. I pull my arm free, lifting my chin to meet her gaze. "I had nothing to do with this," I say, my voice shaking but firm. "Jessica cheated. That's on her." The silence that follows feels like the moment before a storm breaks. Mom's face contorts with fury as she snatches up the expulsion letter, thrusting it in my face. "You ungrateful brat!" The paper crumples in her grip. "You're the reason this family is falling apart." The words crack something inside me, something fundamental and irreparable. I look at my mother, really look at her, and for the first time, I see the truth. She doesn't see me as a daughter. I'm just a convenient scapegoat, a receptacle for every failure, every disappointment, every flaw she can't bear to acknowledge in her golden child. My eyes drift to Jessica. She watches in silence, not apologizing, not even pretending to be grateful for Mom's defense. Instead, there's an almost smug satisfaction in her expression. She knows she'll walk away from this unscathed, just like always. The weight of years presses down on my shoulders, heavier than any bookstore shift. If I stay, this will be my entire life. Always sacrificing, always invisible, always wrong. My gaze falls on the front door, just a few feet away. It's still open from when I walked in, showing a slice of the darkening sky beyond. That door represents everything I've never had. Freedom, uncertainty, the chance to live for myself. "What?" Mom scoffs, following my gaze. "You're leaving? You have nowhere to go. You'll be back in a week, begging for my help." I don't respond. Instead, I turn and walk to my bedroom, the smallest in the house, barely furnished. My hands move on autopilot, stuffing a duffel bag with essentials, a few changes of clothes, a worn notebook, the $60 in cash I've managed to hide from Mom's borrowing. Before I leave, my eyes catch on a photo frame. Me as a child, smiling, before I understood what this house would become. I take it with me. The night air hits my face as I step outside. It's cold, but somehow lighter than any breath I've taken in that house. Behind me, Mom's voice carries across the yard. Go ahead. Don't come crying to me when the world chews you up. I don't look back. If you were me, would you have left, even if you had nowhere to go? Mom's words chase me down the empty street. Asterisk. You'll come crawling back. You have nothing. No one. Asterisk. The night air wraps around me like a cold sheet, and my fingers clench tighter around the strap of my duffel bag. $60. A change of clothes. A photo I should have left behind. The weight of what I've done crashes over me in waves, each step carrying me further from everything I've ever known. The neighborhood stretches endless and dark ahead of me. Porch lights flicker on one by one, families settling in for dinner, for movie nights, for all the normal things that happen in normal homes. My chest tightens. Where do you go when home stops being home? I walk until my feet ache, until the residential streets give way to commercial districts. The hum of distant traffic mixes with the chirp of crickets, and still I walk. Pride keeps me from pulling out my phone, from scrolling through the short list of contacts who might let me crash on their couch. I'm not going to prove Mom right. Not tonight. 2 hours in, exhaustion hits like a physical blow. My shoulders slump as I spot the glowing sign of the 24-hour train station. Not safe, exactly, but shelter. Better than nothing. The fluorescent lights inside cast everything in a sickly yellow glow. A handful of people occupy the hard plastic seats. A woman clutching a garbage bag full of what looks like clothes. A man in a business suit passed out across 3 seats. Someone muttering to themselves in the corner. I choose a spot near the vending machines, as far as possible from the muttering man. The tile floor sends cold seeping into my bones the moment I sit. My stomach growls, reminding me I haven't eaten since breakfast, but I keep the $60 tucked deep in my pocket. Who knows when I'll see money again? Sleep proves impossible. Every shuffling footstep jolts me awake. Every announcement over the crackling PA system sends my heart racing. The vending machines hum, an endless drone that sets my teeth on edge. By the time dawn creeps in through the grimy windows, my throat feels like sandpaper, and my head pounds with the kind of exhaustion that makes the world tilt sideways. A new wave of commuters flows in, their fresh clothes and coffee cups a stark reminder of how far I've fallen in just 12 hours. I catch my reflection in a window-wrinkled shirt, tangled hair, the kind of hollow-eyed look I used to see in homeless people, and think, how did they end up there? Asterisk. Now I know. One bad night. One moment of standing up for yourself. One realization that the devil you know is worse than the devil you don't. A single tear slips down my cheek before I can stop it. I swipe it away hard enough to leave my skin stinging. Crying won't help. Nothing will help except getting up, finding work, surviving. I force myself to my feet, muscles protesting after hours on the cold floor. If I don't find a job today, I won't make it through another night like this. The thought should terrify me, but instead it settles in my chest like steel. I've spent 23 years surviving Margaret Sullivan's house. I'm not about to let the real world break me now. The morning passes in a blur of rejection. Every storefront, every help-wanted sign leads to the same response. We're not hiring. The fast food manager barely glances up from his phone, dismissing me with a wave. By noon, my legs shake with each step, and the gnawing in my stomach has turned to a constant ache. Then I spot Eda's small diner tucked between a laundromat and a pawn shop. The neon sign flickers weakly. Lopez's Home Cooking. Through the window, I watch a woman with steel gray hair tied back in a tight bun directing staff with sharp gestures. The bell chimes as I push open the door. The woman Marianne Lopez, according to her name tag, looks me up and down, taking in my wrinkled clothes and desperate expression. Ever washed dishes before? She asks, no preamble. I can learn. The kitchen air hits like a wall of heat. Grease coats every surface, and the mountain of dishes seems endless. By closing time, my fingers are raw and pruned, my back screaming. But when Marianne hands me $40 in cash, it feels like more than money. It feels like survival. That night, curled up in the same train station corner, I allow myself to check my college fund account at the ATM across the street. The account I've been saving since I was 14, working every summer job, every holiday shift. If there's anything left, maybe I could still balance. $0. My hands shake as I navigate through the transaction history. Multiple withdrawals, all under Margaret Sullivan's name. Designer clothes, concert tickets, private tutors for Jessica. The screen blurs as tears well up. She didn't just kick me out, she made sure I couldn't leave on my own terms. Made sure I'd have nothing. But something shifts in my chest, something harder than despair. If Margaret Sullivan could steal my future, I'll build a new one. Without her. Without any of them. Need more hours? Marianne asked the next morning, watching me scrub pots with mechanical precision. Yes. My friend owns a coffee shop. She needs help. You want in? I pause, sponge dripping suds onto my shoes. 2 jobs means twice the escape velocity. When can I start? The coffee shop is different customers instead of dishes, lattes instead of grease. My first real paycheck feels like victory, small but mine. Every dollar is a brick in the wall between me and Margaret Sullivan's voice in my head. Then I see it checking my remaining account balance at the end of the month. A transaction made in my name weeks after I left. Margaret Sullivan, still pulling strings, still using my identity like it belongs to her. I should be angry, should report it. But something colder takes root instead. Let her think she's won. Let her keep digging her own grave. One day, when I'm ready, all her fraud will come back to haunt her. And this time, I'll be the one watching her fall. My hands shake as I count out $1 bills on my threadbare mattress. 23, 24, 25. The bills are wrinkled and stained from 12-hour days split between Bean and Brew and Lopez Diner. I stuff them into a worn envelope, already knowing it's not enough for rent. The alarm on my phone blares at 4:15 a.m. Another day, another shift. I drag myself up, muscles screaming from yesterday's double. The mirror shows dark circles under my eyes that no amount of concealer can hide. But pride means nothing when you're one missed paycheck away from sleeping in your car. At Bean and Brew, I've mastered the art of becoming invisible. Head down, movements efficient, voice pleasant but forgettable. Until I'm not. Seriously? A woman in a cream-colored blazer sneers as I fumble her complicated drink order. Why do they even hire people who can't do their job properly? My cheeks burn, but I keep my expression neutral as I remake her drink. Inside, rage bubbles up like scalding milk in the steamer. I want to tell her about my cramping fingers from 8 hours of dishwashing yesterday. About choosing between dinner and bus fare. I said, sugar-free vanilla, she snaps, pushing the drink back across the counter. I remake it again, and again, and again. That night, I collapse onto my bed without bothering to change. The springs dig into my back through the thin mattress, but I'm too exhausted to care. As I turn my head, a familiar scent catches my attention, soft, soothing lavender. My eyes find the source, an old handmade candle tucked in the corner of my duffel bag, one of the few things I grabbed when I left. The scent pulls me back 12 years. Mom's kitchen, but on a rare day when she and Jessica were out. Me, carefully melting wax in an old pot, pouring it into mismatched jars from the recycling bin. The pure satisfaction of creating something beautiful from nothing. I sit up slowly, mind racing. My laptop is already open to my checking account, $212.47. Just enough for supplies. If it doesn't work, my finger hovers over the place order button. In my head, Mom's voice sneers, asterisk. You'll fail. You always do. Asterisk. I click. 3 days later, my tiny apartment fills with the warm scent of melting wax. I measure temperatures obsessively, test fragrances, adjust ratios. Each candle takes shape under my hand-simple mason jars, filled with carefully layered colors and scents that remind me of comfort, of home. Not the home I had, but the one I always wanted. The Etsy shop setup takes hours. I photograph each candle under the harsh fluorescent bathroom light, trying to make them look professional. The descriptions flow easier words about warmth, comfort, peace, things I'm still learning to find. Days pass. No sales. I refresh the page between customers at Bean and Brew during my breaks at the diner. Before falling asleep at night, nothing. The voice in my head that sounds like mom grows louder. What made you think anyone would want this? Asterisk? Thena notification. 1 candle. $12. I stare at the order confirmation until my vision blurs. It's barely enough to cover shipping, but it's something. It's proof. The validation lasts exactly 8 days. Then the reviews start. Poor quality. Arrived broken. Smells like chemicals. Worst purchase ever. Don't waste your money. Amateur hour. Get a real job. My stomach turns to ice as I read the usernames. Margaret's 1962. Jessica Love's 2 Shop. They found me. Later that night, I discover a Reddit thread. Jessica's username is unmistakable, mocking my pathetic little candle shop and reminding everyone that some people should know their place. The rage that fills me isn't hot like before. It's cold, crystalline. For the first time, I see the truth with perfect clarity. They don't just want me to stay down. They want to make sure I never get up. You look like you're plotting murder. I snap my head up from my phone to find Riley, my Bean and Brew coworker, watching me with concern. She's wiping down the counter after closing, her blue hair falling in her face. I'm fine, I say automatically. Yeah, and I'm the Queen of England. Riley leans against the counter. Spill. I hesitate, but something in her expression genuinely concerned rakes through my walls. The whole story spills out. The candles, the reviews, the sabotage. Instead of the pity I expect, Riley's eyes light up. Dude, you need to get on TikTok. Let me help. I'm good at this stuff. Before I can protest, she's pulling out her phone, arranging my sample candles on the clean counter. The light catches the glass, making the colors shimmer. Small businesses deserve support, she narrates, filming. Let's get this girl some orders. I watch her post it, certain nothing will come of it. Another dead end, another failure. I've never been more wrong. The next morning, my phone won't stop buzzing. 10,000 views, 20,000 views, 50,000 views. Orders flood my inbox. 50, 100, 200. Numbers I never dared to dream about. Then, buried in the avalanche of notifications, an email that makes my heart stop. From Brand Partnerships, Lux Aroma. Subject: Partnership, Opportunity. We love your work. Would you be interested in discussing a potential collaboration? Asterisk. My fingers hover over the keyboard as that old, familiar fear creeps in. What if Mom finds out? What if Jessica tries to take this away too? But something has changed. The voice in my head that sounds like Mom isn't the loudest anymore. My voice is, I click, reply. The scent of lavender and sage fills my tiny home studio as I pour another batch of candles. My hands move with practiced precision, measuring and mixing while order notifications ping on my phone. 300 units to ship by Friday. 2 wholesale accounts pending approval. 1 brand collaboration meeting next week. I pause, letting the familiar piece of creation wash over me. Just 6 months ago, I was slinging lattes at Bean and Brew, my fingers perpetually sticky with caramel syrup. Now my hands smell of essential oils and success. Today's my last day. I had told my manager, handing over my apron. She'd hugged me tight, whispering, "Go get him," in my ear. That moment felt like stepping off a cliff, terrifying and exhilarating all at once. But my online orders had finally overtaken my cafe wages. It was time. Celine? Riley pokes her head through the studio doorway, waving her phone. You might want to see this. My stomach tightens at her tone. She hands me her phone, open to a local news article. The headline hits like a punch to the gut. Local family faces foreclosure after years of financial mismanagement. There's my childhood home in the grainy photo, the peeling yellow paint even more obvious in newsprint. The article mentions Margaret Sullivan by name, my mother, and details how she's 3 months behind on mortgage payments. My eyes catch on a quote from a neighbor. It's sad to see. That house used to be so well maintained, but ever since her older daughter left. I hand the phone back to Riley, my hands steady. I need to finish these orders. There's more. Riley's voice softens. Jessica dropped out, failed most of her classes last semester. The loans came due and she trails off, watching me carefully. I turn back to my work table, checking the temperature of my wax. Not my problem. But that night, as I'm packaging the last orders, my phone buzzes. Unknown number, but I recognize the area code. Home. My mother's voice crackles through the speaker before I can decline. Celine, honey. The familiar manipulation oozes through her words, but something's different. A tremor. Uncertainty. I miss you. Family should stick together. Your sister is struggling. We all are. We need you. I let the silence stretch, feeling the weight of 2 decades of guilt and obligation press against my chest. But it doesn't crush me anymore. I end the call without speaking. The texts from Jessica start flowing immediately. I know I was a bad sister. I was just jealous. You were always so much better than me. Please, Celine, I have nowhere else to go. I block both numbers and return to my work. The wax melts, the orders ship. My business grows. 3 days later, Riley bursts into the studio again. It's gone viral. She shows me a social media post from Mrs. Chen, our old next-door neighbor, the one who used to slip me extra cookies when I helped her with her garden, the one who saw everything. I watched that girl get blamed for things she didn't do her whole life, the post reads. Celine Sullivan was treated like a maid while Jessica Sullivan was worshipped. Now that Celine has a successful business, suddenly they miss her? Where was that love when she was working 3 jobs to survive? The comment section explodes with support. Old classmates emerge with their own stories. The truth about Jessica's academic cheating scandal resurfaces. Someone mentions how she used to steal other students' work. A former teacher confirms it. I watch it all unfold, with a strange detachment. The empire of lies my mother built around her golden child crumbles, post by post, share by share. Jessica's name becomes toxic in professional circles. No one will hire her now. The next time my mother calls, she uses Jessica's phone to bypass the block. Her voice shakes. No superiority, no arrogance, just raw desperation. Please, she whispers. We have nothing left. Jessica's call comes an hour later, her words stumbling between sobs. I have nothing left. I was horrible to you, I know, but please, help me. I stand in my studio, surrounded by the business I built from nothing. The fresh batch of candles cools on the rack, their surfaces smooth and perfect. Orders wait to be shipped to customers who value my work. My bank account holds more money than my mother ever borrowed from me. The power has shifted. They know it. I know it. I pick up a candle, examining its flawless surface. For years, they controlled every aspect of my life. Now they need me to survive. The irony would be sweet if I could still taste it. But standing here, in the life I've built for myself, I realize I feel nothing for them at all. No anger, no satisfaction, no love. The bell above my shop door chimes. I look up to see 2 familiar figures step inside, my mother and Jessica, shadows of their former selves. Their designer clothes are gone, replaced by worn department store clearance. The makeup can't hide their exhaustion. My mother's eyes dart around the studio, calculating the value of everything she sees. Even now, she's looking for something to take. Celine, baby? Her voice drips with false sweetness. I know we've had our differences, but you're successful now. You can afford to help your family, right? Jessica steps forward, her hands twisting together. I'll do anything, please. I'll work for you. Just don't let me end up like this. I look at them. Really look at them. The women who made my childhood a prison. The mother who stole my future to fund her favorite daughter's failures. The sister who watched me break and smiled. They wait for my response. Desperate hope painted across their faces. They expect the old Celine, the one who would sacrifice everything to earn a scrap of their approval. But that Celine is gone. In her place stands a woman who built herself from the ashes they left behind. The candle in my hands has cooled completely now. I set it aside with the others, ready for shipping to someone who will appreciate its worth. No, I say simply, and turn back to my work. The clicking of my heels against polished marble echoes through the lobby as I approach my office. Through the glass walls, I spot them before they see me, Mom and Jessica, looking small and displaced among the sleek furniture and modern art pieces I've carefully selected. The expensive furnishings reflect the life they never imagined I'd have. Abstract paintings worth more than our old house, ergonomic chairs that cost more than Jessica's last semester of college, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a city that finally belongs to me. Jessica perches on the edge of a leather chair, her designer clothes from better days now wrinkled and worn. Her hollow cheeks and bitten nails tell a story of sleepless nights and mounting debts. Mom stands rigid beside her, hands clasped in a pose I recognize from countless parent-teacher conferences or concerned mother act. My stomach doesn't drop anymore when I see them. That's new. Celine, sweetheart. Mom's voice breaks as she spots me, tears welling up right on cue. Her hands tremble as she reaches toward me, a masterful performance of motherly remorse. We've made mistakes, I see that now, but we're still family. I let the silence stretch, watching as Jessica's fingers twist in her lap. She looks thinner now, her once perfect makeup slightly smudged, the designer bag at her feet a knockoff of last season's style. The golden child tarnished at last. Family helps each other, right? Jessica's voice wavers, but I catch the familiar manipulative undertone. She leans forward, desperation crackling beneath her practiced vulnerability. After everything, you wouldn't just abandon us, would you? The irony almost makes me laugh. Instead, I cross my arms, tilt my head, and ask the question that's been burning in my throat for years. Oh, but when I needed help, where were you? Mom flinches, as if I'd slapped her. Good. When I worked 2 jobs and still had to give Jessica my savings, where were you? Each word drops like ice into the pristine quiet of my lobby. When I had nowhere to sleep but a train station, where were you? When you stole my college fund? When you laughed as I struggled, where were you? We didn't know, Mom stammers, her performance cracking. The perfectly curated tears dry up as reality sets in. We thought you'd be fine on your own. A cold smile curves my lips. Well, you were right. I was fine. I am fine, and I did it without you. Jessica's face crumples, reality finally piercing her bubble of privilege. No education after the cheating scandal, no career prospects, no safety net. The golden child finally facing consequences. The truth of her situation reflects in the windows surrounding us is nothing now, and she knows it. I was a kid, Jessica's voice cracks. I didn't know any better. And now you're an adult, facing the consequences of your actions. I meet her gaze steadily. Welcome to the real world, Jessica. I reach into my desk drawer, pull out 2 bus tickets. They're one-way tickets back to our old town, the place Mom swore she'd never return to, where the streets are too narrow and the dreams too small. I lay them on the glass coffee table with precise movements. I won't leave you with nothing. Here's a way home. Take it or leave it. Jessica snatches up one ticket, rips it in half. Her hands shake with the same entitled rage that once made me feel so small. You think this is funny? You think you're better than us? No, Jessica. I straighten my blazer, smooth imaginary wrinkles. I know I'm better than you. Mom stares at the torn pieces of paper scattered across my pristine floor. She doesn't argue anymore, doesn't plead. She knows this is over. The city hums beyond my windows, a rhythm of success she'll never be part of. I take one last look at them, the mother who never saw me, the sister who never earned her crown. Years ago, their judgment could shatter me. Now, they look small, insignificant. Just 2 more failed attempts at manipulation in my carefully constructed world. I built this life without you, I say, turning toward my office. I think I'll keep living it without you. My heels click against marble again as I walk away. Behind me, I hear Jessica's ragged breathing, Mom's stifled sob. The sound of their desperation fades with each step. I don't look back. I've spent enough of my life looking back. Morning light streams through my floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows across the bamboo floors of my apartment. I breathe in the rich aroma of freshly ground coffee beans, letting the quiet settle around me like a familiar blanket. No tension, no walking on eggshells, just peace. My phone buzzes with a notification. Another 5-star review for Lunar Lux candles. I scroll through the comments, a smile tugging at my lips as I read about how our signature scents have transformed people's faces. 3 years ago, I was mixing essential oils in my cramped studio apartment, praying I could sell enough to make rent. Now I have 15 employees, a warehouse in Brooklyn, and more orders than we can handle. I pause at my bedroom mirror, taking in my reflection. The dark circles that once haunted my eyes have faded. My shoulders no longer hunch with the weight of constant criticism. I look free. The drive to my old neighborhood feels surreal. Each familiar turn stirs memories I've long since buried, but they no longer have the power to wound. When I round the final corner, I almost don't recognize the house. The pristine lawn Margaret took such pride in has grown wild and unkempt. Paint peels from the shutters like dead skin, and a crooked for sale sign swings in the autumn breeze. I park across the street, studying the abandoned shell of my childhood prison. No cars in the driveway, no lights in the windows, just empty rooms holding the ghosts of arguments long past. Through a broken window, I can see the living room where I last stood my ground, the spot where I finally said no. A strange laugh bubbles up in my throat, not bitter, not haunted, just surprised. This place that once seemed so massive, so suffocating, now looks small and insignificant. Like a set from a play I no longer have to perform in. The community center downtown buzzes with afternoon energy as I push through the glass doors. In the main room, a group of young women gather around tables, some taking notes, others sharing stories. My mentorship program started small, just me and 2 others who'd escaped similar situations. Now we have 30 regular attendees. Maya sits in her usual corner, dark hair falling forward to hide her face. At 16, she reminds me so much of myself it aches. Her parents kicked her out last month for refusing to give up art school for the accounting degree they'd chosen. Now she crashes on friends' couches, working part-time at a diner, clinging to her dreams with both hands. How do you stop being afraid they'll come back? She asks when I sit beside her. Her voice trembles, but her eyes hold steady. That they'll find a way to hurt you again? I take her hand, feeling the slight tremor in her fingers. You don't have to stop being afraid. I tell her the truth I wish someone had given me. You just have to stop letting the fear control you. Walking through the center after our session ends, I think about the fundamental difference between us. Margaret spent her life tearing people down. Jessica took everything she could get, but I chose another way. Every time I help someone stand taller, every time I share what I've learned about survival and success, I feel a pride Margaret never knew, the kind that comes from lifting others up instead of crushing them. Later, standing on my balcony with the city lights spread out below me, I think about Margaret and Jessica, about the patterns they're still trapped in, the cycles they'll never break. I chose a different path. Every young woman I help find her strength. Every candle we ship with a handwritten note of encouragement. Every moment I choose kindness over bitterness. It's another step further from becoming them. The night air carries the faint scent of autumn, crisp and full of possibility. I whisper words I've finally come to believe. Some revenge doesn't require action, just success. I take a deep breath and let the past fade into the darkness below, where it belongs.